As you know, evictions are skyrocketing due to people falling behind on payments, not being able to keep up due to the economy, people's priorities not being in line, and them spending money on things like the holidays that just went past, spending money on things that are not necessary instead of prioritizing their bills, right? But this one right here is about somebody being evicted due to a scammer getting them put out of their own house. The scammers are getting real crafty, real smart. Let's check it out.
This is what I'm going through right now. Someone by the name of Ryan Layton filed for a deed transfer saying that he was my brother and that I was deceased. I was actually alerted by all of this by my neighbor because I work over the road. So my neighbor alerted me when he seen U-Hauls pulling up, removing everything out of my house. The police were called out. However, these people had documents together. They had their lives together. They had a team. Everyone was saying they didn't know. They were hired by someone. The police did make the people leave, but no one was arrested. So I reached out to a detective to see why was no one arrested for trespassing and burglarizing my home. The detective was easily able to verify that I am the owner because it's all public record. He pulled it right on up and he realized that it was something going on with fraud. He reached out to Eagles Consulting, who they are claiming that they bought the home from the Ryan Layton, and explained to him that this was a scam. At this time, I'm thinking this company will back off due to the detective letting him know that he has no ownership over the home. The owner of the company was actually supposed to meet with me and the detective, so I came here for the meeting. The guy was a no-show and he stopped answering the detective's calls. After that, he filed an eviction from me and got me removed from my property.
I'm telling you, scammers and criminals are some of the smartest people. If they use their smarts and the expertise that they mastered, scamming people is a skill. It takes a lot of time, effort, and knowledge to conduct a good scam. If they use that same time and energy towards building a business, they could run a Fortune 500 company. I'm telling you, scammers and criminals are very intelligent.
I got evicted.
You got evicted?
Oh, living in my car.
Wait, you got evicted?
Yes, look. I got my whole fucking life in there.
Damn, buddy, we're down bad.
At the grocery store, I asked him, could we get more Kool-Aid? He got mad and got petty about that. He said, homecoming coming up this week. He didn't want my kids to come over. I said, that's cool. And I was like, well, he went and started getting yelling and started getting loud in the store. So I said, I'm going to go to the car. And it escalated. And this is the third time.
Can you stop?
This is the third time that this has happened.
It's my house. I can say what I want to say.
And
I can tell you to leave when I want. I invited you over.
he done tried to put me out.
Can you stop?
Okay.
Now, this one right here is not about a traditional eviction. You know, a tenant doesn't have the money to pay the rent, so the landlord wants them out. This man invited her over. He wants her gone because there was some type of dispute over Kool-Aid, and things escalated from there. Black people and Kool-Aid, you know, black people don't play about that. Now the police got called. He doesn't want her back in his house.
So from here, you'll have to vacate the residence from now, right?
So give me my stuff out of there?
What all stuff you need?
I need my kids' clothes in them back drawers. If he could just, if you could walk in there with him.
Okay. Can you stop? We're going to work through it, okay?
Okay, but ain't nothing.
So what all you need?
I just need my basket out of there. I have a basket and my kids' clothes and my purse and stuff.
The officer just told her to vacate.
Don't come no closer, sir.
Now y'all put that on there.
Listen.
The officer just told her to vacate my house.
Let's worry about the clothes for the kids. I'm gonna walk through this house with her, right?
No, ain't.
Listen.
No, ain't nothing.
Listen.
No, she can't.
Okay. Listen.
Explain the order her right now. It ain't nothing in here for her. You just said on your camera.
Listen.
She ain't come in here for nothing. No.
Listen, she's trying to get her kids' clothes.
Nothing in here. I promise you.
Let me give you the next option, okay? Because I'm done playing.
POV, part 1 of being evicted.
So, I've been living in this house for going on 2.5 years, okay? And first of all, let me backstory. I have the house that I'm living in, and a guy filed for the evictions. He said I was a nuisance, running an illegal business, and unoccupied occupants, and some other shit. Okay? Here in Vegas, let me tell you how people be trying to scam for no reason. No reason. When you got good tenants, you take care of them. You take care of your good tenants, okay? Especially the people that's taking care of your property and doing right by you, even if they don't know you.
Another one, a scammer doing what they do best, according to her. Once again, this is not about someone that can't pay, but still the landlord wanted the tenant out. So what did the landlord do? Go and file with the court and say that she's a nuisance, running an illegal business. And I just don't understand though, how could you run an illegal business, be a nuisance, and be an unoccupied occupant? Meaning the house is not being occupied by the tenant. That does not coincide. That does not go together. That's a contradicting statement. But just because you pay rent does not mean the landlord cannot take ulterior motives to get a tenant put out of there when they don't want them in there. And see, some landlords know these things. They know what to file. They might even have a connection with the courts. But there are scams out here. You got to be careful. Now here, we've been talking about the eviction process becoming faster than before, right? You no longer have a 30-day period. That time frame has now been reduced. Let's explain what's going on in Texas. And it may be like this in your state as well. Texas especially, I've been hearing about this. You know, how everything's changing out here.
Hey, Texas landlords. Senate Bill 38 kicked in January 1st, making the eviction process faster and more predictable for landlords. Courts now focus only on who has legal possession of the property. No more dragging your case out with unrelated tenant claims. If a tenant owes rent or is an unauthorized occupant, like a squatter, and there's no real dispute, judges can rule quicker using summary judgment. Notices are also updated. You can deliver notices by mail, hand deliver to any door at the home, or even electronically if it's agreed in the lease. As for appeals, tenants now must keep paying rent or fair market rent into the court registry during the process. That stops endless delay tactics. Bottom line, evictions can move faster, but you need your leases and notices aligned with the new rules. Want help updating your rental docs or understanding SB 38 better? Drop a comment or send me a message. I'd love to connect.
If you're a property manager in Texas, this one is for you. I'm going to tell you about a few eviction changes that are going to take effect on January 1st, 2026. Yesterday, I made a video about how from January 1st, 2026 on, we will be able to send 3-day notices via email as long as both parties have some type of agreement in writing. But today I have a more serious topic. With this legislation, there's going to be 2 different types of notices. One is going to be your notice to vacate or pay rent, and then the other one is just to notice to vacate. And I'm going to tell you the difference between the two. Your notice to vacate or pay rent is basically giving the resident the opportunity to either 1, vacate the unit within the time frame that you have provided, or 2, pay the rent and remain at the property. The notice to vacate or pay rent should be used in cases where they have never been in default before, they have no other violations, and it's an opportunity for you to actually get that rent back. Now, the notice to vacate, that's going to be in case that you do not want to accept money from the resident. And there's a little bit more to it, but this is the most simplest way for me to actually explain to you how this is going to work. So just to recap, basically, if you want the resident or you want to give the opportunity to the resident to settle their debt and pay you the rent, then you're going to give them a notice to vacate or pay rent. Just because you give it once doesn't mean that you can give it again. As long as you're allowing that resident to actually fulfill their agreement by paying the rent, you can continue to give this notice. Now, the notice to vacate is pretty much like that's it. Like, you're not accepting any more money from the resident. And you can use the notice to vacate in situations where it's not monetary default, meaning like if you're doing a lease violation for maybe prohibited conduct or other issues that you might have with that resident, you can use a notice to vacate. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
That's actually good. Now tenants can't still be inside of a property, living there, but have not been paying the rent while still prolonging the process 30 days at a time. That won't fly no more. All right, we just talked about Texas. Let's talk about how it is in Louisiana, because things have not changed there. And this is why landlords are frustrated. They're frustrated with being landlords in the first place because the tenants can prolong the process, which ultimately ends up costing the landlord more money.
Okay, do you want to hear the most ridiculous eviction law in the state of Pennsylvania, or at least in the county that my property is in? If a tenant is evicted or moves out, I, as a landlord, have to give them up to 30 days to retrieve their personal belongings. So here's the story. My tenant was evicted on Friday, January 2nd. If you all have been through my page, you all know who I'm talking about. Fantastic. I'm ecstatic. We are done. However, she didn't pick up any personal belongings. I don't even think she got clothes. It looks like clothes, everything is still there. All the furniture, everything. And so she has 10 days to contact me to state that she actually wants to gather her belongings. And then if she contacts me within 10 days and states that she wants her belongings, I have to legally give her up to 30 days to gather her belongings. Now, that doesn't mean I have to leave the items in the property. That means I can actually haul them and put them in a storage unit and charge her for hauling and storage. But if we're behind on rent and we get through a full eviction, do you think I'm going to get the money for the hauling and the storage? Absolutely not. Secondly, when you're evicted, you know when the eviction happens. You know when the sheriff is coming. The sheriff posts the notice and gives you a 10-day notice to let you know that this is the date of the eviction. How in the world do I, as a landlord, still have to give them another 30 days to get their personal belongings? It's annoying. But anyway, that's what I'm dealing with. All right, bye.
Now, family, let me know. Of course, I already know what y'all gonna say, but what do y'all think about the new rules? Do y'all think it should come to every single state? A faster eviction process. Do you think a faster eviction process should be a countrywide thing instead of it being state by state? Or do y'all think it should stick to the old way? Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about this video as well. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, peace to my Hebrew fam. Shalom. I'll catch y'all on the next one.